Welcome to the London, Ontario. Today we're looking at London, Ontario, some London homes and structures repurposed then and now. We have in the city many old buildings that have been renovated and put to use in different ways. So I'm going to go through the more important ones, the more obvious ones in the city, and we can see how these have now been utilized in a really interesting way. The first one we'll look at is the Waverley home on Grand Ave. This was built in 1882 by Charles Goodhue, and he was London's first millionaire. Today, it's an 82-bed retirement home. Downtown, we have the London Armories, built in 1905 for the military, and now it's been put to use as Delta London Armories Hotel. Also on Grand Ave, we have a home that was called Idlewild. It was built in 1876 on Grand Ave by Charles Hyman. Hyman was a owner of a tannery on Richmond Street, just at the tracks, CPR tracks. He was mayor in 1874. He was MP in 1900 under Laurier. He was Minister of Public Works in 1905. And he was also 7-time Canadian men's singles tennis champion. Today, it's the Idlewild Inn and Spa. So if you happen to go for dinner there, you can remember that you're in the building that was the home of a very well accomplished Londoner. On Horton Street, there was the roundhouse built in 1887 for the Michigan Central Railway. It was later occupied by Sansone Fruit Company for 45 years and then occupied by the Great West Beef Restaurant for 30 years. Today it's had an amazing renovation and it's now home of the tech firm Ellipsis Digital. On Dundas Street near Adelaide, the Buchan House, very beautiful structure, was built in 1871, and in 1877 the towered front was added, and that was done by Thomas Escott, who was the owner of a major grocery wholesale company in London. Today it's the location of my sister's place, which offers supportive environment for women. At the corner of Adelaide and Queen's Ave, we have the Banting House, built at 442 Adelaide Street in 1900 by Dr. John Wright. Banting purchased a home in 1920, and it's considered the birthplace of insulin. Banting moved to Toronto, though, in 1821, where he completed his work. It's now a National Historic Site, houses the Canadian Diabetes Association. On Windermere West, we have the Elsie Perrin Williams estate. That was built in 1915, and the family owned the Perrin Biscuit Company. It was used as a summer home by the Perrin family, and the house was then given to Elsie as a wedding gift in 1903. When she died in 1934, she left the estate to the City of London, and now it's well known as a special location for events like weddings and other occasions. On Rideout Street at King, we have the Infotech building today, but that was built in 1870 and started as a series of hotels and then a hosiery factory. It later housed the Jenkins seed store, and in the 1960s it was bought by the Sterling Marketing Company, which took over the whole complex of buildings. And today the entire corner is home to the Infotech Research Group. On Adelaide Street, just north of Dundas, there's the O-Pee-Chee factory at 433 Adelaide Street. That was built in 1928 and was used as a factory until 1989. Made famous the baseball cards and bubblegum and many other interesting candies. Today, the building has been renovated and has been turned into apartments. At the corner of Adelaide and Queens Ave, we have the original Baptist Church, Central Baptist Church. That was built in 1882 for Benjamin Cronin Jr. as a home. And in 1930, it was purchased by the Central Baptist Church and turned into a church. Today, at 602 Queens Ave, it will house the London Cares and Sisters of St. Joseph and Connect as it is being renovated. On Richmond Street, south of the bridge, and at the corner of Carfrae Street, the old Supertest gas station was located. And if you look today, there's a plaque at the front on the corner which explains the significance of the building. Today it's being used as a variety store, but back then it was the Supertest gas station and was the last of the that kind of architecture used by Supertest to still remain in London. Supertest family, of course, the Supertest station rather, was started by Gord Thompson and James Good, who founded the company in 1923. Then they changed the name to Supertest after what it originally called the London Automotive Service. But the cottage-style architecture with the Tudor elements was the big trademark of the Supertest stations early on. And then it changed over to a more modern look of brick and glass in 1965. There was a large cigar manufacturing industry in London, and today, if you look at the building on Horton Street, which houses the children's Boys and Girls Club, this was built in the early 1900s, and the club purchased it in 1970s, and it today is still the home for the London Boys and Girls Club. Those are just a few of the most interesting situations where an older structure or building has been turned into something different in today's London, and it is one way of preserving our old architecture, and that has helped maintain a presence of our historic past. So the audio podcast today is, like I said, a part of a series of London podcasts. I have both audio and video. The audio podcast started off with the title and London, Ontario, Unusual Happenings in London, Ontario's Past. Can you believe it? The way you can, if you haven't seen it, be able to listen to that is you go to youtube.com, Old Stuff Show, and search the title that I've just given you. I'm using my video channel, but the audio portion of it to do that. So you would then go to youtube.com, London, Ontario, Unusual Happenings in London, Ontario's Past. Can you believe it? That was the first one done in that series. And then we moved along to the London, Ontario, Unusual Happenings Part 2. So youtube.com, London, Ontario, Unusual Happenings in London's Past, Can You Believe It? Audio Podcast Part 2. That's a very special one because there's a couple of situations in there that are very unique to what I've discovered in London's past. And then the third one, London, Ontario, Unusual Happenings in London's Past, Can You Believe It? Audio Podcast Part 3. So those three can be listened to at any time. In the video area, I have numerous podcasts. You do the same thing. One is called London, Ontario, 2 Iconic Department Stores in London's Past, and we focus there on Smallman and Ingram and Kingsmills. And then another one is called The Newspapers Londoners Read Over the Years. And then another one is called Some Important London, Ontario, Some Important Past Londoners, and this is revised. And it's a very interesting look at some of the major cast of characters in London's history. And then we also have one called, this is a unique one, London, Ontario's Past Landmarks on Match Covers. And the final one that I've done is called Some Highlights of London, Ontario's Past. And it does an overview of many different historical highlights. So lots to choose from, and pleased to share my information with you. I hope that you will either have a listen or a watch sometime, and we'll be back with some more for you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you again.